with Archie McPherson.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Tynecastle Park. Now, I really mean a warm welcome. Excuse me if I'm slightly blinking. I'm not used to the sun. We haven't seen that much of it this season. One of the great successes, of course, of this year has been Heart of Midlothian. Now, not even the most fanatical admirer would have anticipated that when they last lost that game, away back in October 24th to be precise, against Clydebank, that they would go thereafter unbeaten all the way through the year, right up until the end of April. Well, that's how it stood at the start of this afternoon. Therefore, not surprisingly, a huge crowd turned up at Tynecastle here to watch Hearts lift the championship, except that there were one or two reservations. For a start, technically, Hearts required 3 points, although I suppose most people assumed that because Celtic had a wheen of goals to make up the goal difference, that Hearts, if they got the 2 points, depending on what happened at Celtic Park, they would ultimately lift the championship simply by beating Clydebank. Well, it was Charities Day in Edinburgh, so I hope you gave a lot of the cans came rattling towards you, but it was quite clear that by 3 o'clock, just before kick-off, that players and spectators alike of the Hearts' affection had rejected that old adage that charity begins at home and wanted to kill off Clydebank in one fell swoop and lift that championship flag.
And Hearts this afternoon at Clydebank kick-off will have an incredible vocal backing. There's going to be almost a full house here at Tynecastle in one of the most important games in the history of the club. I know other events and other places may influence the course of the afternoon, but Hearts, as they know, and the manager has been trying to tell them, is to put that out of their minds and consider this almost like a cup final. And that's a free kick. Whittaker to take this. I know what Hearts could give for an early goal in this match. It would settle the nerves, and even though they have a huge backing and a player like Sandy Clark has a great deal of experience, they're only human, and I'm extremely convinced that they must be very tense indeed out there. McCabe almost getting in the way, slight sandwich. John Robertson not the match for that high ball. It's played wide to Dixon. Breaking to the middle is David Shanks, a very useful player indeed. Ball just knocked over. Clydebank with some useful results recently, and one of the best players in Scottish football, McCabe, going down the right. A little bit unfortunate. Quite incredibly winning the player of the year in his division 3 times in a row, and hardly anybody will beat that record. Neil Berry, been an immense man for Hearts in midfield this season. He's a workhorse, but a very useful one. Cahoon going through the middle. And how characteristic of Hearts' play when this man comes in from the right, waits for that long through ball, then darts after it. McCabe brought that down beautifully. Really makes his team tick. Well, Hughes wanted a 1-2, didn't quite come off for them. Oh, that was a late one, and I think a free kick against Black. Taken by Hughes. Curling it. That's a useful ball indeed. Still danger in that Hearts goal mouth. Little bit of a fluster. And they save, anyway, the corner kick. Well, Clydebank beginning this game extremely boldly. almost in a quite insolent way in front of this vast home crowd. Nice ball. Henry Smith rising to loud draws. The ball, I think, is not back there. There had been an infringement free kick. Levine. Looked a ladies' tackle to me. Tackle there by Dixon. Got to be very patient, Hearts. Playing against a side who may wish to draw them out, catch them on the cut back like that, and Jerry McCabe screaming at the linesman that had gone across. Very intelligent play by McCabe. Now, one here by Mackay. John Robertson. Off him a great deal is going to be heard in European circles, particularly if Hearts qualify for Europe. Certain to do that, of course. And down to Clark with a chance, and the referee looked very quickly across to the linesman, but that was a distinct chance. Clark was onside, as that was chipped forward. He had a very good break there, and again, sign of a little unsettled feeling throughout the Hearts ranks, but he didn't take that with the composure required. Black, powerful header, but oh, that was Mayer. Pressure on by Hearts now. Here's Mackay coming in. Clydebank hemmed back now. Cowie. Easily picked up by Jordan from Conroy. Late tackle there by Bay. Referee will certainly have a word about that. That's, I think, a cautionary tale. Header by Clark was necessary there, but well cleared. Clydebank defence obviously well organised. That's Jerry McCabe trying to go in for it. Flipped away by Levine. McCabe again. Danger is going to come from him, obviously. If Hearts don't recognise that, they'll be extremely naive, and I'm sure they do. Cowie. Mackay. They let fly one. What's the 1-2? Clark is down, and a good save. Gallagher. Jim Gallagher. 55 years of age, the goalkeeper. And really, he's been with the Bankies for 14 years. Great servant. Watch his goalkeeping here. This is a very, very useful save, and brave. Man who's had a lot of caps for the semi-professional side. Back it goes to Cowie. Levine wants to come forward. Nobody challenging along that right wing. Gallagher, a very busy man in the last 5 minutes. I mean, he does look cool, doesn't he? Almost taciturn. I think he's got a wad of chewing gum in there somewhere. Yes, Hearts have real control now. They're beginning to settle. Beginning to get a grip of this game when it matters in midfield. John Robertson. That was a very careless ball to play along your penalty box. Bit untidy. No, Cowie trying far too much. Clydebank still very pushed. Very late challenge, free kick. The Hearts supporters beginning to sense it's only a matter of time before this goal goes in. Jordan as Clark, he's up again, he's very good in the air. Even though the defender gets his head to the ball, sometimes it can be a ragged clearance. Tall legs of the tall figure and lanky form of Craig Levein. One of the best young assets in Scottish football. Clark. Totally muffed. McKay beautifully put forward. This is Hughes. Shanks was giving backing on the right wing, and very clears. Jordan, neatly touched forward, there's Clark. Now Robertson, there's a bit of space for him to work. Very supporting. Mackay. Oh, it's neatly enough done. A lot of these headers being pushed down towards the penalty spot, but nobody has been following up. McKay, always thinking, great creative player. Oh, that's a clearance, thank you very much. Fine tackle there by Traynor. Did that extremely cautiously. There was no pass back to the goalkeeper on at all there. Now Sandy Jordan poised to push it to Mackay, which he does. Well, if anything, there's a much too predictable look about Hearts at the moment. Clydebank reading most of the moves well, although there is incessant pressure. Old is now beginning to match Clark in the air. That's a very good sign for Clydebank. Clark can get up and push it around with the head, is extremely dangerous. Cowie. Levein. Again, it's tantalizing enough. What a miss. Really, John Robertson has scored with infinitely more difficult chances in this. I think the bounce, more than anything else, slightly put him off. And I think he might have got a hand as he went in for it, in the face. The nearest chance yet. Nice turning by McCabe. Best player on the field by far. Just gets away with it. Look at that. That's beautiful stuff. What a move. Oh, for more of that in football. You know, the old-fashioned pulling the ball back. What we could get away with describing as Tanner Boss skills. Nice to see. Round the side now. Berry, can he get Hearts going? Nice little touch of skill. Now McCabe, delicately with a deft pass. Nice counter-attack there by Clydebank. They're trying to get players forward. Here is McCabe coming up, and a good interception by Levein. Round the side it goes, and Cowie still in possession, although he's rather cornered. Oh, and Hearts get out of it well. Good play. nice touch of confidence, that kind of confidence they could do with in front of goal now. Mackay. Will he go himself? He has! 1-0. 34 minutes gone. Oh, and the very goal that will not only put Hearts in front, of course, but give them enormous confidence, and done in great style. The young midfield player taking his time, measured pace forward, and a superb strike. Exactly when it was needed. Marvellous goal for Hearts. Jordan. Clark. On he goes himself. Great run by Clark. And I think a free kick for that challenge on the goalkeeper. Really punishing buzz forward there by Sandy Clark. I mean, anybody with sense in the head would have got out of the road with that look. He was determined to go right through. Down went the goalkeeper, and Clydebank gets the free kick. Read well. Now, McCabe. Clydebank fanning out as soon as he gets the ball. Intelligently, too. Shanks. Unable to throw off the challenge of Neil Berry, who really grapples with players, doesn't give up very easily. One of the most tenacious players I've seen for a long time. And there goes the half-time whistle. Applause that is not yet ecstatic, satisfying, and with a certain amount of relief that Hearts in the lead by 1-0. They took a long time about it, I'm sure, by the standards of the devoted followers who wanted them to make the kill quickly. But the goal, when it came, was a delightful one, which would cap any victory anywhere. But a young midfield player, the way he strode forward, basically confidently, and looking towards goal, and then giving Gallagher no chance at all with that glorious shot. That is not only a very useful lead, but I think it's a lead that goes a long way to clinching the championship. And we start the second half with a huge roar from the Tynecastle crowd, many of whom during half-time had transplanted transistor radios to their ears listening to the score from Celtic Park, because that result there today could be extremely important. Whittaker. Only 1 goal in it, though. Hearts must not take chances if they wish to win this championship today. McCabe. Levine with them. Two great players together. McCabe with Levine. And there was nobody following up. That was very professional play by McCabe. These are the best season ticket holders in the business. All you do is you pay rent to the local council, and if you have a free view of a team possibly winning the championship. Now, the lad on the right isn't actually cleaning, is he? Surely not. Up comes Whittaker. Look for a 1-2, and I don't know who he's annoyed with. Goalkeepers certainly have command of that, but Whittaker was distinctly annoyed with, it must have been Clark. Well, can't understand why. Our cameraman is playing in midfield today. You should probably have noticed. There he is. Not very mobile, though. touch forward and given not at all confident there. McCabe covers up. McCabe again, beautiful. Just out, but I mean, really, the game badly needs skill like that. Mackay really is strong going forward. Robertson. Well, what you saw there from Robertson, although not successful that time, is what he's done all season in lifting some mediocre phases of the game with an electrifying touch. He really does hit a ball very cleanly, but the goalkeeper was well positioned. McCabe. Giving it to the old head. He's round his man and gets a corner. That was so subtle, that play. Touch of pantomime about that one. Ah, Mackay. He has Robertson and Clark, and there's Robertson. He must put an end to it. He's going to. No! Desperately bad luck for John Robertson. And that would have been a tumultuous end to this game. With about 7 minutes remaining. Down he went, through he went. He might look, just strained after it, but a little too slow. And the game finishing in that mathematical conundrum. Have Hearts won the championship? Or will they hold back everything until next week at Dundee? It's a goal kick. And we've heard, just as I talked to you, that Celtic won 3-0, Hearts have won 1-0. So Celtic have made 2 goals up in Hearts, but Alec MacDonald, is in no mood to celebrate yet. That is quite obvious from his demeanour. It's the last time Hearts will be seen at Tynecastle this season in the league. And the supporters rightly are staying on to greet them with tumultuous applause. The scorer of the goal, Gary Mackay. Sandy Clark has worked tremendously hard for the club, both in attack and defence. They're building their scarves. I think they know in their heart of hearts, as I said, that they won the championship, but statistically it is not yet over. And therefore, I think they have put the champagne and the lap of honour into cold storage, perhaps just for a week.
Well, we looked for the celebrations, and you could see from Alec MacDonald's face that he was saying to himself, and perhaps indicating both to the supporters and the players, that they had yet that single point statistically to make the championships truly theirs. And of course they go to Dens Park next week. Now, just before the final whistle, I was hearing that it was 3-0. Well, I misheard the information given to me. In fact, it was 2-0 for Celtic at Parkhead, and that is what makes it such an interesting position. So Celtic are plus 22, Hearts are plus 28, and Celtic, of course, have a postponed game which they're going to make up in midweek against Motherwell at Fir Park next week. And no disrespect to Motherwell, but one would expect Celtic to win there and perhaps even to go after goals. That's going to be a very interesting evening indeed. That's at Fir Park. And then both teams play next Saturday. Hearts go to Dens Park to play Dundee, and Celtic go down to Love Street to play St Mirren. So it's going to be a marvellous end to the season. But as I said at lunchtime, and indeed as Alec MacDonald has been saying for some time yet, Hearts are so near, yet so far. Here they are on the brink of a marvellous achievement, the double, and yet they still haven't quite made it. So I wondered of Wallace Mercer after the game if he and others were really finding the pressure a great deal to put up with.
I think it is. The last 2 months, it's the expectation level of everyone else in the city. Until recently, people would have thought that as chairman of the club, if we had consolidated in the top half of the Premier Division, that was a tremendous accomplishment. But I don't want to be known as the nearly man. And
well,
I could be known as...
That's what I'm meaning. You know,
I could be known as the nearly man. So therefore, to that extent, for the last 2 months, the reality of what we could achieve is obviously on my shoulders just
You see,
now.
I don't want specifically to talk about football, but it seemed clear enough to me that a lot of your players were affected by that today.
Well, it would be unlikely that they wouldn't be. I mean, they've never been in this sort of strata before. That is all what it's about. It's a question of handling the pressure. We've only got one final game left. I'm fairly convinced that we will move on, because they have shown a resolve and an attitude for months, irrespective of today's performance, and I'm quite convinced they'll do it.
Well, you have to work at keeping the spirits up in any way. I mean, I know you're a very harmonious club, but you've got to work consciously at it over these next few days before next Saturday.
I don't think that'll be any difficulty at all. If anything, I've had to mentally prepare myself for the last few months that the party's going to be over. And people have obviously been saying we've been playing above ourselves. I'm delighted to be in this atmosphere. And if we do achieve something, there's no doubt we'll be back again.
Yeah, well, people say you've been destined to win this championship. You've kept on going, you've kept on going. You haven't really stumbled. I would think that most people, in all honesty, would say of you, you deserve it for what you've done.
Well, that's pleasing. And also, I think we brought a lot of the people back into the sport. I mean, today we had a superb crowd. We're averaging gates of 17,000. That's in the top 10 in the United Kingdom. Let's put some scale on it. We're not a small club. At the same time, though, it is about professionalism. And I'm convinced, in fact, that we will be able to achieve it in the end.
One way or the other, whether you win the championship or not, although you're still favourites to do so, and you've still got the cup to look forward to, and you've got crowds coming back, the old hearts, the great crowds at Tynecastle, but can you keep the players? Can you keep the status of the club? Because this is what really almost destroyed the club in the past.
Well, yes, it was, in fact. But, I mean, that has been my policy since May '81. The manager's never needed to sell a player that he didn't wish to sell. I've never, ever asked him to sell a player. In fact, we've invested £800,000 in that team you saw today. We've raised $200,000 by disposals. Players will not be leaving this club unless we get an exceptional opportunity for them.
Well, can that happen, though?
Of course, it must be in their interest. They're business partners of mine. They will profit in their own goodwill and benefit. We believe in the philosophy of elitism, and if they get the opportunity to play in a bigger stage, I'm talking in a major national sense, it would be churlish of us to say no. At the same time, though, can I say equally, to balance that side of the argument, it won't be through the lack of rewards offered here, because it is well known that our players here are extremely well provided for, and they will continue to be provided for.
So you're going to hold on to them?
If I have a will and the people have a will, yes, of course we will.
Mr. Wallace Mercer, chairman of Hearts, and of course remaining one of the most colourful personalities in the game. Right to the end of the season, a very important week stretching ahead for him and for Hearts. An important week stretching ahead, of course, for Dundee and Rangers in trying to get that place in Europe, with Rangers drawing 1-0 with Aberdeen at Pittodrie today. It's a very good result for them. And Dundee, of course, losing to Celtic. It means that with Rangers playing Motherwell next Saturday, Dundee playing Hearts, Rangers, although on the same points, have a better goal difference, and therefore they looked to be favourites to get that place in Europe. And in the First Division, the most significant result there today was Falkirk winning, while all the other contenders for promotion lost. So that means that they look as if they might just get up with Hamilton. They certainly look to be the favourites at the moment. And Dunfermline won, and Queen of the South lost. So there's no change in that division, the second division, that is. Well, you know, before I end, let me say right away that I thought the best player in the park out there today, that Tynecastle pitch, was Jerry McCabe. He was immense, beautiful, subtle touches. You know, the old Tanner ball thing we like to see in football from time to time, and he's surely one of the most underrated midfield players in the game. If Clydebank don't want him, I'm sure somebody will snatch him up. But it was Hearts Day. OK, they didn't win the championship. Many people thought they would get it today. But nevertheless, they've given great entertainment. And one man gave it, especially today, Gary Mackay, to scenes of celebration. Good night.